doing it yet, but he's going to do it in the next 4 years. Bet your ass he is. What do you think about that?
Controls every branch of the government. He's probably going to get whatever he wants passed.
Yeah, he had a long time to do it.
47 years.
I'm glad he waited until he got, 48 years. This is number 48. I'm glad he waited so long to do it, but he's got a plan, and we're going to go over it. And I'm going to tear this fucking thing to pieces. From my vast knowledge of hating gun laws, the majority of them. All right, so if you go, this is actually on Joe Biden's website. So we're slowly going to rip this thing apart, and I'm going to tell you why along the way. All right, so it starts off with Joe Biden knows, this is on his website, so I guess he's speaking in the third person. Joe Biden knows that gun violence is a public health epidemic.
He doesn't talk in the third person.
Yeah, I know.
Regularly?
He doesn't know who he is regularly, so I guess he could have wrote this.
I'm Joe Biden's husband.
Joe Biden knows that gun violence is a public health epidemic. Almost 40,000 people die as a result of firearm injuries every year. If 40,000 people die, wouldn't that be firearm deaths, not injuries? But who cares? Every year in the United States, what they forget to tell you, and this is the sentence number one, is by the FBI Uniform Crime Statistics of 2020, 95 to 90% of those are bad people being shot by police and suicides. So that number is closer to 38,000 of them are bad guys being shot to death by cops. And suicides, people shooting themselves, so that brings that 40,000 number down to about 2,000 a year. So we're starting off good with a bunch of lies. Some of these deaths and injuries are a result of mass shootings that make national headlines. Some should be very few in that paragraph, but we're going to skip along. Joe Biden has taken on the National Rifle Association on the national stage and won twice. I disagree, but I'll tell you why in a minute. In 93, he shepherded through Congress. I guess now he's speaking. No, he's still speaking in the third person. Okay. Shepherded through Congress the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, which established background check systems that have since kept more than 3 million firearms out of the hands of dangerous criminals. Okay. Well, I don't know how they come up with that number, because usually they just go buy them off the street for cheaper. But I guess they're going with denials that have been forwarded to gun sellers. Yeah. So I guess that's the number they're pulling out of. And I can't hear there we go. Biden, along with Senator Dianne Feinstein, she's a gem, secured the passage of a 10-year ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, as President Joe Biden will defeat the NRA again. When did that sunset? In 99?
No, it was like 2004.
2004. So yeah, 93 to 03.
Right. All that did was make pre-ban AR-15s more expensive.
Right. So what that means, if you try to do something like that again, is he could either put a non-sunset. I really don't understand sunset laws to begin with. It's almost like they're knowing that they're not going to work, so they put a time limit on them.
Well, exactly. It's got a time frame, so it has to be reintroduced and redone, revoted on and everything.
Yeah, and it wasn't. So after 10 years after 2003, it was not pushed through again, and then everything that they quote-unquote banned can now legally buy. So that didn't really do anything except make those guns that were banned and grandfathered in much more expensive for you, the civilian listener. Obama-Biden administration took more than 24 actions, including narrowing the so-called gun show loophole, increasing the number of records in the background check system, and expanding funding for mental health services. Those three, I don't really have much to say other than I agree with expanding funding for mental health services. As of, I think, 100% of the, I think because I'm being modest, I know 100% of the people that were involved in mass shootings that were the shooter were on some kind of SSRIs, antidepressants, something like that. All of them are. Which is going to loop back around as to why I think this is the problem and not banning stuff. And if banning stuff worked, they should ban heroin and cocaine. All right. Hold gun manufacturers accountable. This is one of his staples to hit on after he becomes president, which is in about 24 hours. Yeah, I know.
He wants the gun companies to go bankrupt.
That's exactly right.
Well, fuck, look at Remington.
Yep.
There you go. It's already working.
So if you hold gun manufacturers accountable for anything that they produce that devolves into a death of anybody,
It's
right,
COVID.
they will go bankrupt very quickly. It's like suing Ford for every time a
Somebody
Ford
gets in a car
automobile
accident.
gets in a car accident.
Which,
so I don't see much.
I mean, that I could see that precedent coming up.
Oh, I think
If
that's
they're bringing this up,
a huge possibility.
I can see people saying, well, if it's the device that's causing
such a mess.
the actual liability, then let's sue the car manufacturers also.
I'm surprised that he put all this on their website. I was doing research the last couple of days as so many people were asking. I mean, I don't really know, what he was planning to do. But he makes it pretty obvious on what his intentions are and what he wants to do when he's president, which is all pretty scary. And most of them don't make any sense. That's a big one, which would discourage all new manufacturers to even manufacture anything like that because they're going to be sued into non-existence. Get weapons of war off of our streets.
They are.
Right. I mean, I don't really know what the hell that means. Most people that think long guns that look like ARs are assault weapons. By definition, assault weapon can fire fully automatic or burst 3 rounds or so, and they are already heavily regulated by the NFA branch of the ATF. So I have no idea what weapons of war means. Most enlisted soldiers carry a handgun, and they're usually in combat, so I don't know if that includes handguns, and I guess he doesn't either because he doesn't put that on his website, which is open to interpretation, which is terrifying as well. Ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. They already are banned, except for if you want to do a Form 4 and buy a $30,000 fully automatic machine gun, which is legal, heavily regulated. Like I said, it takes about 6 to 8 months to get that gun back once you start filing the paperwork for a registered assault weapon, and they're very expensive, about the price of a new Corvette, some of them. So that's already done, but it sounds good on paper when Biden's speaking in the third person. Federal law prevents hunters from hunting migratory game birds with more than 3 shells. That means our federal laws do more to protect ducks than they do our own children. This is wrong. Joe Biden will enact legislation to once again ban assault weapons. So I don't know how he's connecting the two to the amount of rounds that a gun can shoot to people that hunt ducks. But
well, we don't hunt people, and we don't.
So wait,
for sport, it's kind of the 3 shell rule is made
Right,
to make it sporty, not to help the ducks.
It's a straw man argument.
But isn't it? It's illegal to hunt people and
It is
children.
illegal to hunt people.
So then
That's why, again, we preface this with it should be illegal to not, sell heroin and murder people, and that would, in effect,
amazing.
fix the problem as it is. 2 shots in.
There's a more shot, more scotch.
Oh, it's been a terrible year. All right, so that's a hell of a way to put it. Also, I don't know if you're listening and you're liberal, we're happy to have you listen. But think about it. If you ask most people that come into the gun store that want to buy a gun, and you ask them, what do you think is going to happen when you get robbed or mugged or your home gets invaded? They will tell you a guy is going to come up to me and they're going to want my money, or they're going to try to take me or something like that. Well, what if it's more than one person? If a group of hooligans, 3 or more, and you only have 3 rounds, good luck with that. That's probably not going to end well, and most bad guys travel in packs, especially after the sun goes down. All right.
You better be a good shot.
Right. If you got 3 and 4 assailants, you better be like Deadpool. I watched that movie again last night. It's a good movie.
You can only practice with 3 rounds at a time.
Right. You're only going to be able to practice with 3 rounds because anything over that will be banned under the Joe Biden presidency.
Well, this is the same guy that said walk out on your porch and shoot a shotgun up into the air.
Yeah.
This is also the guy that said like 6 months ago he was running for Congress. So I don't.
You hear that?
Yeah.
That's Ginger's car.
I just want to interject. That's Ginger leaving the building. Right?
We're upstairs in a heavily soundproofed room inside of a soundproof building, and we can hear Ginger pulling off in her
Mustang.
Mustang.
600 horsepower Mustang.
Regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act. Again, I do not know what they mean by assault weapons. I would imagine that they are not talking about fully automatic weapons, but let's find out. And if no, they are. They're talking about machine guns, silencers, short barrel rifles. Okay, so that's already heavily regulated, probably to an extent that most people, even people that are anti-gun, would be very comfortable with. Again, it takes about 6 to 8 months to even get one of those. But he does point out, to his credit, or whoever's writing this piece of crap for him, due to these requirements, such weapons are rarely used in crimes. But he wants to heavily regulate them or ban them anyway, which makes a whole lot of sense. Buy back the assault weapons and high-capacity magazines already in our communities. How much is that going to give you in your wallet? Well, they don't tell you, but they want you to bring them to the courthouse and hand them over, and they'll probably give you a few bucks for it.
That'd be an interesting number to know.
Yeah, no. What did I tell you about when I went to the buyback in Orleans Parish?
I remember that.
That was really something. I went because we were doing another radio show on ESPN Network with Don, and I went. I didn't have anything to sell. I just got in line and was talking to people, and I think it started at like 8 in the morning. I got there like 7:50, right before 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
They almost rioted.
Oh, this was a problem.
They ran out of money. They ran out of money,
So
didn't they?
they did it at a church, which God bless them. That was an interesting place
Why would they
to
ever
do that.
do that?
And it wrapped around the church, and then like a Best Buy at 6 in the morning before Black Friday. It wrapped around the building that was next to it. And I was at the end of the line, before they even opened, which was probably, I don't know, like 800 people in it. And they all had guns. None of them were safely handled, And in about 10 minutes after I got there, a bunch of police started showing up.
I guess so.
Right, and we're in Orleans Parish.
2,000 people walking around with guns just out in the open.
Soon after that, somebody came out and said, "Look, we're sorry, we ran out of coupons." They weren't actually given cash. They were given like a coupon you would mail, and then they would mail you a check or something like that. And they said, "We ran out of coupons, go home." And so now you got a bunch of pissed off people
with guns
outside of this church about to riot.
My money!
Oh my God.
If you remember, we had customers in the know that came in and purchased used firearms to go turn them in.
Because they were saying that you would get $500 no matter what it is.
Firearm,
so people were going to Academy buying pieces of shit for $100, a bunch of them, to make $400 on each one, and they got stuck with all these high points outside of this church.
Spending $60 at Home Depot and making a slam fire shotgun.
Love it.
Jesus. So if they can't get it right with 600 people in a church in Orleans Parish, I guarantee you that 350 million people in the United States probably won't go smoothly. And if you add high-capacity magazines to that list, I have no idea how many high-capacity mags there are. Probably...
it's going to be a dog chasing its
probably
tail.
1 billion mags. Probably more than 1 billion mags. I have no idea.
Yeah, if there's 350 million right now, and you figure, on average, 2 to 3 magazines per
Hey,
probably 1 billion mags. Probably more than 1 billion mags, because, they don't go bad.
I buy them conservatively, I do like 5 a week.
Yeah, 100 in a case.
That adds up.
A case
quickly.
a week.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unobtainable.
Jesus.
It's amazing.
Reduce stockpiling of weapons. Not even going to touch on that one because that's so ridiculous. I don't know what that means or how you would reduce stockpiling of weapons.
How is that reducing stockpiling if you can still purchase one a month? That's still 12 a year you can stockpile.
Right. In order to reduce the stockpiling of firearms, Biden supports legislation restricting the number of firearms an individual may purchase per month to 1. And if there's no firearms in the country, then that would be 0. I guess autocorrect didn't catch that one. All right, we got one that I might agree on. Keep guns out of dangerous hands. The criminal background check system known as NICS does a pretty good job of that already, believe it or not. We do about 2 denials a day. We can usually tell before it takes place that they're going to get denied. If there's anything fishy, we send them away. So I don't have much of a problem with that, and that's already that's already active right now. So, everything that he proposes using the criminal background check system that everybody fills out when they buy a gun through a gun store, that's already in effect. Require background checks for all gun sales. This is the part that varies from the laws that we have today. An estimated 1 in 5 firearms are sold or transferred without a background check. That number is complete bullshit because there's no registration for any firearms, especially in the South. There's only, I think, 11 states that have registries, so they would not know that number. And if they're not transferred with a background check, how are they getting the total number of the firearms transferred? So that's another lie. All right, I'm done with this one. Close other loopholes in the federal background check system. The boyfriend loophole, which is already against the law. If you send someone, that's called a straw purchase. So we've taken care of that one already, Biden. You can cross one off already. It's already a felony, and we're pretty good at picking them up.
Man, we pick it out good. We actually have a straw, like a drinking straw. And as the girlfriend is filling out the background check, we hand the straw to the boyfriend and tell him, hold this.
And then we jump on them.
That's right.
And there's a small cage that we keep underneath the store that collects all of our straw purchases. You know, in the right when I started working here is when it stopped, which is my luck. But usually, which I do agree with, if there's somebody that got a denial or somebody that was obviously not able to purchase a gun themselves, you could call our local ATF or NICS, and they would send a deputy over and they would arrest them. That helped a lot, and they stopped doing that. So
there are states that go through
Three shots in.
There are states that go through state police to run your background check. So instead of us calling NICS or running the computer system directly through NICS, you can call state police, and they will actually do the work for you. I used to work in Oregon.
I love Oregon.
If you get a denial in Oregon, they will hook you up right in the freaking showroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used to do that here. I don't know why they stopped doing it,
Yeah.
and when they stopped doing it.
It costs too much.
Right. So defunding the police is another good way to make sure that that doesn't happen, right? God, this is
Who you gonna send?
Such a fucking mess. Wow. Yeah, after you take all the police money away, and then you need them for something, they're probably not going to be there because you done.
Well, but that's what
took all their
communists do. They use the military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they do. I've been reading Ordinary Men. Have you ever heard of that? It's like
Sounds familiar.
It's a book. It's why communism and Marxism and identity politics is such a disaster, and it tells you shows you, from first person, how they took ordinary police officers in Nazi-occupied Germany that were older at the time. They were old enough to where they didn't grow up in the Hitlerian propaganda. So they were like in their 40s and their 50s. They already had their morals and device. They already were grown up before Hitler came into power. And it showed you how they started by rounding up Jews, and they ended by, shooting naked pregnant women in the back of the head in fields, and they were super fucked up at the end of it, but they didn't stop doing it, which is a very wide turn that we just took. But I mean, little things like that, when you take all the guns away from a community and then
that's step one.
More towards
disarm the populace,
more towards a identity politics view where everybody except your group is evil, how it can divulge into that pretty quickly. It's amazing that we keep doing it over and over after the 1900s. We saw Stalin, Maoist China, Hitler, all those communists, those ideals seem to keep happening over and over, and nobody really knows about it. All right, back to Biden's wonderful plan. Reinstate the Obama-Biden policy to keep guns out of the hands of certain people unable to manage their affairs for mental reasons. That already is on the NICS background check, so you can check that one off as a win, Biden. Already got you covered on that one, and they work pretty well, so you don't have to reinstate anything. Close the hate crime loophole. I didn't read this one. I highlighted it. I don't know what the hell this means, but we're going to find out in a second. Biden will enact legislation prohibiting an individual who has been convicted of a misdemeanor hate crime. This is already, okay, all of this already exists. You can't get convicted of a misdemeanor violent crime. It's already a question on the background check, and it will prevent you from buying a gun. All right, so you're out of these. You got 3 already in the bag, bud. Good job. Close the Charleston loophole. The Charleston loophole allows people to complete a firearms purchase if their background check is not completed within 3 business days. That's worded wrong. What they mean is probably that NICS has a hold that will let the gun store release the firearm after a certain number of days. It's usually 4 or 5 business days if we haven't gotten a result back from NICS. And they want to extend the timeline from 3 to 10 business days. Don't have a huge problem with it, but I mean it already works pretty well. They're just trying to add stuff to things that don't really need adding. Close the fugitive from justice loophole. Jesus Christ, let's listen to this one. Because of course it's Trump's fault. Because of actions by the Trump administration, records of almost 500,000 fugitives from justice were prohibited from purchasing firearms. That were prohibited from purchasing firearms were deleted from the background check system. The Biden administration will restore these records. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what that means, and I don't have a real problem with it.
It's just people that have actual arrest warrants out currently.
No matter what the arrest warrants are for.
Does that include all the criminals they let out of jail?
Yeah. Or the criminals that they were funding to get out of jail. You know, they had
raising money to get them out of jail. Pay for their bonds.
Well, because of COVID, they were releasing inmates because of COVID. Yeah. Because it was a danger for them to be in prison.
Yeah, why not?
Are you...
So make it a danger for everybody else to let them out.
Fuck, who cares? Give them a gun and let them out. All right, now this is a big one. In the online sale of firearms and munitions, this is a really big one that I have a huge problem with, because they're going to extend this to ammunition, kits, gun parts, which could literally mean anything.
Do you realize the revenue of online gun,
I think it's
gun parts sales?
Right,
just parts.
I think it's a $2 to $3 billion industry.
I spent $500 today. I know you did.
So that would mean, Paul, you spent $500. Shame on
Paul's
you.
mom, if you're listening.
Don't you know Biden doesn't want you to
Paul
do that?
spent a lot of money on gun parts today.
You can't buy a replacement.
This says Biden will enact legislation to prohibit all online sales of firearms, munitions, kits, and gun parts.
So you can't buy a replacement spring if it breaks.
That should kill
anything.
Millions.
You have to contact the manufacturer and get one directly.
Well, you wouldn't be able to.
You can't purchase it online, but you could call the manufacturer and get it. It should be covered under your warranty.
It should be.
But no more
parts and repairs.
No, I mean, that destroys upgrades. Unless
that's really big.
You're going to start getting.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to buy anything.
Well, you're going to start getting all kinds of catalogs then in the mail. Doesn't say anything about mail order. It just says online ordering. So then you'll get 6 million catalogs in the mail from every gun distributor that you purchase parts from.
I wonder if Biden knows he's about to become president.
It's possible.
I think about this when I go to sleep at night. If he's
going
to wake up tomorrow,
there's so
many. They're going to say, "Hey,
you're
Tom,
president.
You're president." He's going to say, "What the fuck?
Well,
Who are you?"
But look, there's so many other options.
Does that mean I can sniff
How
whoever
old
I
am
want?
I?
But there's so many other options that will cause, like, okay, so they're going to destroy jobs in other areas. So let's take those same those parts manufacturers. We're going to open up a call center, and we're going to cold call everybody in the United States and ask them if they need anything for the AR-15, and sell it to them over the phone. Doesn't say anything about phone sales. It says online sales. So we're going to start telemarketing gun parts.
We're about to revamp the phone industry.
That and like I said, you're going to get 6 million catalogs in the mail.
Hello, I've been trying to reach you about your gun order report. What would you like to order? Your warranty.
I wonder if you need any more high-capacity magazines.
I do.
It's such an incoherent list of shit that already exists.
Well, but there's always some kind of loophole. There's always some kind of way around what they're doing.
Oh, here's another one. Okay, this is another one I have a huge problem with. Incentivize state extreme risk laws, which sounds good, but extreme risk... 3 shots in. Extreme risk laws, also called red flag laws,
Drunk.
Enable family members or law enforcement officers to temporarily remove an individual's access to firearms. Now, the problem with that is...
Don't piss off your girlfriend.
Or your neighbor, your ex-wife, or anybody.
A buddy at work who knows you have firearms.
Right.
Anybody who knows you're a gun guy.
See, the problem with this...
You might even have people just like that, how they have that swatting in California and stuff like that, to the celebrities, where they call in like a threat and the SWAT team shows up.
Yep.
You might have people just surfing Instagram. They see a gun on your page.
Ooh, jeez.
Boom.
The problem
call up and
is
report
the
you.
people that are going to be reporting and determining this are the people that you would least want to call and determine that.
Right.
It's going to be people that are upset, angry with
Or
you.
like I said, just somebody who doesn't like guns, who's surfing the web, sees your Facebook and you're holding a gun and calls the cops on you.
Oh, jeez. I better close.
It could
my
be
Instagram.
anybody. It could be literally anybody that sees you with a gun. They could sit in the parking lot outside the parking lot of the gun store or the range, and watch people getting out of their cars with guns, and say, "Oh, get his license plate. That guy right there. That we're going to report him."
That is a huge problem. I mean, they could even report. It doesn't say in here. I'm sure Bob doesn't know either, but it doesn't. I mean, you could report a law enforcement officer that pulled you over that you're mad at.
You could.
Hell yeah. I had a Jefferson Parish Sheriff's officer tap me in my penis today.
That's a big problem, though. And I think that, believe it or not, is one of the... Yeah, penis tapping is no bueno. No, not that part.
There's no penis.
Red flag laws, or of what we've covered, that's probably in the online
Because
sales.
what kind of regulation is there for that? There's nothing.
There's nothing.
How can they vet those people calling in and calling and saying it's a problem?
I'm sure that they're not recording, or they're going to say that they... I mean, they didn't even record Jeffrey Epstein trying to kill himself twice. So if you think they're going to ask for whoever said this... Yeah, right. Well, that was the joke. If you think that they're going to provide you with the information of the people that gave it to you, they're not going to do that, obviously.
Right.
So they could literally just start confiscating people's guns for no reason at all. And there's no recourse to it.
Just for a simple
Because
phone
you
call.
don't know who did it.
Right. Did you see
Holy
those
shit, man.
Christmas light meme? It said these the guy put a sign in front of his house made of Christmas lights. It said these lights didn't hang themselves, and neither did Epstein.
That's really good.
That's good.
I still don't understand how nobody talks about that.
Dude, there are multiple investigations on that whole deal where people are not talking about any of it.
that are going to
chick that he used to hang
disappear
out with?
tomorrow.
Right. I don't know how Ghislaine Maxwell didn't have a... She got arrested. I'm sure
heard nothing.
A bunch of videotapes
Nothing.
just didn't come pouring out of the helicopter onto the White House lawn with everybody on it.
Pop the
You know,
tile
he
out.
had a picture of a painted picture. It wasn't an actual photograph of Clinton on the bed in a dress in his parlor
Wow.
with a cigar or a cigarette in a dress.
That doesn't surprise me.
Was it blue?
It was a blue dress. It was, wasn't it? Find that picture.
Monica Lewinsky
You're
still has her dress.
That's a reference
There's
to
a
the Monica
picture
Lewinsky dress.
of that Epstein had in his house that was confiscated of Clinton, a painted picture of Clinton in a dress in his parlor.
Wow.
Google that. Google Epstein picture Clinton in dress.
I can't. You took my phone.
I did. No phones. All right. Adequately fund the background check system. I agree with that. It's hard to do when you take all the police's money away because 5 minutes ago you wanted to defund the police. Now you want to adequately fund the police to do background checks. All right, we're done with this one.
That's funny how they say adequately.
So
it's
just enough to
not
where
too much. But
Yeah, but
just enough.
somebody has to determine what that adequately is.
I'd be glad to do that.
Like, what is adequately? Well, we gave you a box of condoms.
there you go. Look at that sexy monster.
Yes.
He does have a cigar, doesn't he? Or is that a Willie?
No, he's
it's
pointing.
a cigar.
He's pointing.
Oh, he's pointing. That's what it is. We want you.
Oh, it's a dress that Hillary wore.
Ran the
It's
country.
still got the stain on. No, that's Lewinsky I'm thinking of.
Red high heels too.
That's when you know you done got somebody. When they can go in your house and say, "Hey, Noah, look at this picture I painted of you with titties and a dress on. I eat dinner underneath that picture every night just to know I got you." Holy shit, I'd like to see that video. That dude has so many videos. Hopefully they're not on VHS. They're on, a file where you can upload. He looks like a VHS guy. Yeah, they're probably on VHS. They can be destroyed.
Hillary visited his house wearing a magnetic dress.
Right.
Wiped every videotape.
God, I would. Did you watch the doc? It's pretty good.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they make it seem like he's the only bad guy, which is bullshit.
All the visitors weren't bad at all.
Well, they don't even really hit on the people that could have been involved. It was just him.
They don't hit on the yacht and the submarine and all that kind of shit?
They go over his properties and stuff, but they don't, you don't hear Bill Clinton is in it.
Look into that. Look into the people involved in that.
Oh, yeah.
It'll blow your mind.
Isn't the island next to it owned by Joe Biden?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's something that they wouldn't tell you in the doc.
I could have swore I saw
those
something
people don't want to wake up
that.
Dead either.
That the island adjacent to Epstein's island was Joe Biden's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably like the Canary Islands. It's just 8 or 10 islands.
Yeah, it's a chain of
nothing but high-ranking, 50-year government officials own.
How old is she again?
I don't know when she's gonna. She's been in it for like 200 years.
Oh, I'm talking about all the girls that they,
Oh yeah, there were 12.
That's a guy asking somebody, how old is she again? You got a set of dice on you?
So after we defund the police, we're also going to establish a new task force on online harassment and abuse to focus on connections between mass shootings, online harassment, extremism, and violence against women. Make sure to throw everything in that bucket, huh?
But wait.
I'm waiting.
Isn't that a sexist comment in itself? What about violence that women do
against
guys?
men?
Yeah. What about that?
Sexist Biden.
Sons of bitches.
Sexist Biden. Include men in that sentence.
Sorry, flashback.
I'm a Me Too you.
This is crazy. I mean, just think about that. This is tomorrow.
See, he's victimizing women in this write-up.
Mm-hmm.
What about the guys, though?
Bitch.
Look at what was her name? The girl that Charlize Theron played in that movie Monster?
I can't remember.
Where
Cameron Diaz?
No. Where she was a serial killer and she killed guys just because?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember that movie Monster?
No.
Where Charlize Theron looked
I thought that's
hideous.
the movie when she killed her kids.
No, it was like she would
Jennifer
get
Lopez.
Guys, oh my god. She would get guys like to solicit her for sex, and then she'd take them out in the middle of nowhere and kill them.
That's a good movie.
Was she strong?
She was kind of a brute. She looked like a monster.
She's rough.
I'll tell you what, you would not know it's Charlize Theron.
You would like that. You would like that movie.
That might be my neighbor. I get these whiffs of
Just
stink
like
every now and
that
then.
movie where with the women from Fox News, where Charlize Theron plays one of the head anchors. Boy,
I heard that was really good.
It is a great movie. But
Is that the one with Steve Carell's in it?
I don't think so.
Chelsea's watching one right now.
But I tell you,
looks
that's
good.
another one you would think that it is the real woman on the video.
Oh yeah, actors are insane.
She's amazing.
To act like other people for your work every day, you gotta have a screw loop.
I only do that when I answer the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I do too. Expand the use of evidence-based lethality assessments by law enforcement in cases of domestic violence. I don't know what this means, so we're going to read this a little more. Lethality assessments, sometimes called risk or danger assessments, are proven strategy to help law enforcement officers identify domestic violence survivors who are at high risk of being killed by their abusers. These survivors are then connected with social service programs that can offer services in safety planning. I don't know what this has to do with guns, though. An evaluation of the lethality assessment program, or LEP.
If you have a misdemeanor for domestic violence,
Right, you can't buy a gun.
So what the fuck?
It's already in the work.
That's
Right.
already covered.
I don't even know what that means, other than domestic violence. If you've been
I had a customer
Well,
yesterday.
That
I had a
pretty much
customer-
says it's providing counseling to the victim. That's
Look,
pretty much all it says.
Okay.
I had a customer yesterday who tried to intervene in a domestic dispute.
That's how you get a bullet in the chest.
When the police arrived, they didn't find the time to find out what's going on, and they decided to charge everybody. So he has a domestic violence charge for trying to break up a fight.
Yeah, don't break up fights.
No.
Just let them beat the hell out of each other.
Keep your distance, man.
on
If you wanna
Broad
keep your
Street.
gun rights.
I saw everything.
I saw it happen.
I didn't participate, but I
just
saw everything.
him.
This is
You
the
need-
next course
her
of
to
action.
death.
I'll tell you what. I took notes. I'll tell you what color clothes they had on. I'll tell you who hit first. What hand they hit with.
All right, so I don't really know what that has to do with. I don't know what that has to do with gun laws, but this is where Biden is. It's 10 o'clock at night, and he's starting to forget who he is. The next one says
It gradually deteriorates as it goes.
the next one says macaroni. Macaroni is yellow. Yellow macaroni showed results promising increased willistably children. A bunch of periods and a smiley face. I agree with that one.
And I get to sniff children.
And a bunch of
Sniffing
hieroglyphics.
children will be taken off of the Facebook. I love Facebook.
That is to not.
Who
not to
their
be
weapons
considered-
are Facebook. Safely Facebook. Put America back to Biden. I'm running for Congress.
Oh my god.
All right, at the beginning to think this is a joke, whoever sent me this. No, that last minute is not on Joe Biden for president.
I think you made that up.
I did. I made that up. All right, so back on track. Make sure firearm owners take on the responsibility of ensuring their weapons are used
I
safely.
use word perfect.
I have no. Yeah, just a bunch of smiley faces and that cucumber emoji. What is it? Not the cucumber.
Eggplant.
The eggplant. This whole page is just eggplant emojis, underlined eggplant emojis, and smiley faces with one of those throw up faces.
And a thumbs up.
Holy shit. Alright, make sure firearm owners take on the responsibility of ensuring their weapons are used safely.
A couple of ray guns.
And when you click on the app, the firework thing comes up and it goes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is.
Holy shit.
Wow.
I'm going off the rails. Alright, make sure firearm owners take on the responsibility of ensuring their weapons are used safely. I have no problem with that.
We want to stop them from owning the thing.
The thing when
The thing with the clip. And the,
they used to rub my hair leg and the leg on my hair would be blonde in the sun.
Yeah, what was up with that, man?
He's losing his fucking mind. He's talking to a bunch of inner
He
city
said
kids.
they were rubbing their hand up and down my leg. And
He's-
watch the hair.
I've
dude.
watched it a bunch of times because I enjoy laughing. So I watch. My hair on my leg turns blonde in the sun, and they used to come up to the pool and rub my hair up my leg, and my hair is blonde, and the kids love it.
'Cause you-
And
And
I
he
love
ended it.
kids, and I hate roaches.
I hate roaches.
And roaches.
What the fuck was that?
That's when somebody goes, okay, all right.
Whoa.
Joe,
Joe.
Joe.
Hey, didn't we tell you not to call kids roaches? What the hell are you talking about?
Focus,
God damn it,
motherfucker.
this is the home stretch. We got 4 months, motherfucker. You're running against the game show host. If you can't win this, we're throwing in the towel.
Somebody runs up and gives him a shot of B12.
That's when somebody runs up and goes, and they knock him over and go, oh my God, oh, he fell down. Get him out of here.
Here's the scary
Like
part.
they did with Hillary that time when they tased her getting into that van.
Jesus Christ. Elon Musk, somebody, Jordan Peterson, run for president.
Oh my God.
Holy
Please, God,
shit.
He's going to be our president tomorrow.
The fact that we had to choose between a game show host and somebody that can't, doesn't know what position he's running for.
Oh my God. South Park. What was it?
A shit sandwich.
I'm
and a
Joe
juice.
Biden's
That's
husband.
right.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm a, God, I wish I could remember. I love South Park, yes we do. I'm a sandwich filled with poo. that was his campaign slogan. Holy shit. All right.
2 shots in.
Right. We're 4 right now. Put America on the path to ensuring that 100% of firearms sold in America are... Oh, okay. That's why I highlighted this.
Hundo.
Jesus Christ. Listen to this one. This is a whopper. All right. This one, people, if you love me or hate me, if you hate the podcast, I don't know why you're listening, but thank you, I guess. Subscribe. This one makes no sense because I've had personal hands-on experience for the last 8 years of going to SHOT Show. Looking at exactly what they're about and trying to get this to work
It's terrible.
at the SHOT Show with people that are planning on selling this product that they brought to the SHOT Show. So it's at the top of the line product.
That's right. Have you ever tried to use an electronic device and it did not work?
This is exactly
Boom!
So they want to, this is why I highlighted it. Okay, so put America on the path to ensuring that 100% of firearms sold in America are smart guns. That they have a IQ of more than 13. No.
That's how he's making jobs. He's going to put the battery company's going to have to increase their workforce.
All right, guys, we're going to get serious for a minute. So this is the stupidest thing that's on this list. This is incredibly stupid that they actually have this on their website. Okay, so he says that they need to ensure that 100% of firearms sold in America, they don't give a shit about anybody else but us. I guess I appreciate that. Or smart guns. Today we have the technology to allow only authorized users to fire a gun. All right, so what that means in a nutshell is, have you ever... Well, I'm not going to go off on this rant. All right, they have a... if you watch the last James Bond film, he picks up his Walther PPK, and it senses his fingerprints, no matter what hand he uses.
Dirty.
When he grabs the gun, it turns green and allows James Bond to shoot Javier Bardem because James Bond is awesome. But that has no precedent on how this works in the real world. That does not work. He played a good role in that movie.
He's badass.
I
Let me
love
just say,
him.
if there's a villain, I hope it's not Javier Bardem.
God,
you know what I'm
Killed
saying?
my father. Prepare to die.
Oh, James. Oh, James. She lied to you.
This is the Queen guy?
The Queen's gay?
No, it was the Queen guy? The guy who played Freddie Mercury and Queen?
No. Javier Bardem's the guy that played
No Country for
in
Old
310. Yeah, No Country for Old Men.
Oh, that's
Fucking fantastic.
That's
good.
the new James Bond movie coming out.
So good.
What did you... No.
No. I'm saying the new one that's coming out is the guy that played Freddie Mercury and Queen. He's got a burnt up face and everything.
Great.
They fuck all their bad guys up. The other Javier Bardem
Well, that's why they're
took his
bad guys.
teeth
They're
out,
pissed
his
off.
face clamped. Yeah, I'd be pissed off too. Yeah. He was gay too in that movie, which threw you for a little loop. He plays a good character.
In the Queen movie?
No. Well, yeah, he was gay in that movie too.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about Javier Bardem in the James Bond movie. Yeah, he's unbuttoning them.
Make it take his teeth
shirt
out.
when he's. It doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
This is the moment
shots in, are we?
that the podcast went off the rails. All right.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so what they want to do in this next paragraph is to ensure that all firearms are encrypted with a device that we do not have yet.
Doesn't exist.
That does not exist. That if you grab the gun, only the user can operate it. God damn it, Paul. Turn off your phone. We're going off the rails here.
That's not my phone.
Oh, it's somebody's. It's probably my phone.
Oh!
It is my phone.
It's Chelsea.
It's Billy.
She wants you to remove your
All right.
shoelaces from
That's
your
all right.
shoes.
Oh, gee, she's probably watching it live. All right, so they want every gun that you buy to have a fingerprint
Don't they have one that you wear a ring?
or
That's it.
identifier in it.
That
That's
was the
I think the
Colt
one that
product,
works the best
That's
if
the
there
one that
was
works.
one.
Right.
But it doesn't work great because the battery dies.
Yeah.
You know, like the Wi-Fi, they disconnect from one another. If your wife has to use it and you're getting choked out on your living room, getting hit in the head with a cookie roll.
Give me that goddamn ring.
Right, so this is insane. It's not going to work. And it doesn't work now.
Tape the ring to the gun.
And it won't work in 10 years from now. Yeah, tape the ring to the gun. And make sure it has batteries in it when the bad guy climbs in your window and hits you in the head with a tire jack. Man, that would be a terrible feeling. To like finally win, and he's coming at you, and the goddamn battery is dead or giving you a red signal.
Yeah, the bad thing is if the guy breaks in with a tire iron.
Oh, I know the bad thing.
No, listen.
The tire iron doesn't take a battery.
And you shoot him.
That's true.
That's still a gun.
You don't have to
that's still a
reload a tire
gun-involved
iron.
crime.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You shoot him with your
Guys,
smart
please,
gun.
if you're listening, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Not to mention the guns that you buy, instead of being $600, will be $4,500, and you need Wi-Fi to use them, and you'll need
Excuse me, I'm sorry, we have a price update.
CR
That $600 gun is now
batteries.
$899.
Unless they use those, what are those chips, like in your credit card? That everybody
That
can
shit
hack,
doesn't work
that
either.
they can hack? Yeah.
My chip never works. I go to Rouse's, and my chip, I gotta stick it in 3 times before the lady asks me for my.
Wrap it in a grocery bag.
Right.
Now it works.
Yeah, we can't make chips on credit cards at Rouse's work, but we're gonna put these chips into guns to make sure that
That'll protect your life.
Can I hear that swipe noise again? Thank you.
that was a pretty.
That's
one more
fucking
time.
good.
Oh my god. Alright, so some of these. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
Oh man, don't get me started.
That sounds like Sean Connery.
No, that's Bane from Batman, bitch.
Oh, that's it? Okay. He's an evil Sean Connery?
The fire rises.
The fire rises.
That's who should be
We got
president.
With some fans in here.
I know. No one cared who I was.
I'm
until I
sweating
put on
my
the mask.
balls off.
I'm a mask.
Start by storming Blackgate Prison.
Digress.
That's racist.
But we
I love that movie too.
That's a great movie.
A lot of guns in that movie.
A lot of guns in that movie.
Okay.
Not of your body, of your soul.
The best armor I ever worked with
Was Bane from Batman.
was Batman. That was awesome. Oh my god.
We had Matt. We should have got you in here with Matt. He's gonna come back on with a wrestler or something. Yeah, that one should be posted before this one.
Fantastic. Matt Mitchell, Spectrum FX.
God, just don't ban alcohol. So when I spiral down from losing my job, we can still do this once a week.
They will never ban alcohol.
Well, they did. That worked well.
Yeah. Yeah. You got me there.
Not so much the guns.
Yeah, not so much the guns. The alcohol worked though.
Although how they held those freaking Tommy guns one-handed out the side of a car, they must have had some serious arm strength, I'll tell you.
All right, so we're
We
getting
got-
to the end of the list. It's getting
people-
more and more
Two hands riding them up into the ceiling here.
blurry
Much
here.
as one hand hanging out of a 40 Ford.
Think about it though. That must have been wonderful.
I wish I didn't highlight some of this stuff. It's so depressing. Biden believes we should work to eventually. So it doesn't even make sense to, for the same paragraph, ensure that all 100% of firearms sold in America are smart guns. And then 2 sentences later, Biden believes we should work eventually to require that 100% of the firearms sold in the U.S. are smart guns. All right, so whatever.
Contradiction.
Please don't do it.
Yeah.
Hold adults accountable for giving minors access to firearms. Biden supports legislation holding adults
Aren't they accountable?
criminally. Yeah, they are already. Criminally and civilly liable for directly or
Because
negligently giving a minor access to firearms. That's already on the books.
I remember when I was a kid, like my mom would say, if you go deface something or you go, break something, I got to pay for it. I'm the one who's going to be in trouble for it, not you.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's
So
already.
that's been like forever.
I have kind of an interesting perspective on this too. I had kids after I was in the industry.
Why?
that is a good question.
I haven't slept in 9 months.
It gets better, or
This is why I'm
Maybe it
drinking in a
doesn't.
room at 10 o'clock with 3 other
maybe it
three
doesn't.
other. I'm sleeping here. I've slept here the last 6 months in a row.
So he's been exposed to firearms his entire life. He looks at it like a remote control or a screwdriver or something. He doesn't touch them. He has no interest in them whatsoever because they've been around him his entire life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But he respects them.
Absolutely.
Well, they used to have firearm training in high schools, which
Eddie Eagle.
I thought was great.
That's right.
Right,
It's
Eddie
in
See,
Arabia.
and my daughter, who's just turned 21 last month, she has been around guns forever and has always known them, respected them. She doesn't want to
We got
own one,
backup, son.
Word up, dude.
but she would never grab one.
Fucking 6
You know?
shots in.
We're depressed. We're drinking away our...
My ice is gone.
Man, you still got a little ice in there.
I got a little ice.
So your daughter, 21, she doesn't want to shoot guns?
No, but I mean, she's never even tried to mess with them or touch them or
Neither has my son.
been curious about them because I've made them available.
It's
And I've taught her.
making it not taboo.
Well, right, and we teach this in concealed carry training, and we, some of the slides we have in the presentation even cover. Don't hide them from your kids.
No.
Don't make it taboo, because then they're gonna look for them.
Right.
They're gonna be curious.
Absolutely. The
So-
alcoholism rate in the United States is huge because alcohol is taboo.
Lock them up in the liquor cabinet.
Absolutely. In Europe, it's lower. I don't want to say it's non-existent,
really
but
good.
it's much lower. It's because it's not taboo. You
Right.
know? It's given. You can have
Try
a
it.
drink at dinner. You
My
can have
daughter-
a drink every now and then.
My daughter too just turned 21, so she of course experimented with drinking.
Yeah.
Drank way too much, and now she insists she will never drink again
There you go.
because she does hate to throw up. Hates it, and she
Most
had to
people
make
do.
herself one day because she drank way too much. So she's spent that round.
Yeah, we start training here, obviously, without alcohol at 10 o'clock in the evening. But around
Tastes like candy.
10 o'clock,
What
I
is
mean,
this?
10 o'clock, 10 years old, 10 years old, which is, I think, a good age to start. Based on the kids,
Jesus.
That could be
responsibility
dangerous.
level. That's really good.
That is good.
Yeah. Black cherry rum. Give them a
Lar-
shout out.
Little shout out for Largo Bay Black Cherry Rum.
Largo Bay, do the right thing. Send us 2 cases of Largo Bay Black Cherry Rum.
Tastes like candy.
It does. That could be dangerous.
Yeah. God damn, where are we on this
That was good.
endless list of Biden promises? All right, so that one already.
The fuck was that?
That's our fridge, bitch.
It's all fridge, bitch.
Require gun owners to safely store their weapons. I honestly don't really have a problem with that one. It depends on how you.
That's a tough one. I change weapons
it
far too
is.
frequently
It is a
to
tough
do it
one.
safely.
I mean, it has to break down into who is in the house. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, the more you restrict firearms, the harder they are for you to get to them. If the bad guy's in your house and you got them in 3 safes, it's going to be hard to get to your gun. But it doesn't say anything. It says Biden will pass legislation requiring firearm owners to store weapons safely. So I don't know what that means.
Well, but if you're storing them, see, it all depends on how
Right.
you read into it too. If you're
I
storing
safely
them,
store it in my pants when I
is that
go in the
mean?
pool.
Does that mean every night? Because like if you store your pool for the summer, you know what I mean? You set it up to you're not going to use it for the winter.
right.
Or if you store something, it's not like you access it every day.
I fell in my.
Now, something to think about, guys. In
Who
some
the
countries,
fuck is-
that's right. Who's
It's
the hell?
God.
It's God.
Hey, you need a sound before you start. You need a soundboard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where
they-
you can make noises.
How much are those?
I don't know. We'll get to it.
One that goes.
Let's sink some more money into this.
And one that goes. There's too many goddamn snakes on this motherfucking plane.
In some countries, you have to store your guns at a certain location, like in a club.
Yeah.
You know,
Range.
so that's what things they could be talking about, not just a safe in your house, but they can say, "Hey, you got to bring it to this place, some local club.
Keep it at a club. Yeah,
Keep
absolutely.
your guns there, and you can't bring it home." And then that's at one location that if they ever decide to round up your guns, they can go there and get you. Get it.
One-stop shop.
At a club,
Or a club.
like Darlings.
Yeah, who knows? Jefferson Gun Outlet Club.
Hand me a Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Coke, no Pepsi.
All right, we're almost done here, guys. Hang in there.
Thank you, brother.
So illegible, none of this makes any sense.
God, that sounded good. Damn.
I think I'll open myself a refreshing
See, it's so-
Coca-Cola.
Coke, do the right thing. Send us 10 cases of Coca-Cola. Empower law
you mean Red Bull.
enforcement to effectively enforce our gun laws.
Absolutely. Enforce the laws that are already on the books. That's a novel concept.
So 6 months ago, we are going to defund the police and eradicate them from major cities. Now, on 1/19/2021, we're going to empower law enforcement to effectively enforce our gun laws.
Oh my God.
Well, that's because it's benefiting them. The violence and the defund the police benefited them to get him in the White House.
Absolutely.
There's two people that my family knows that are really anti-gun. I tried to get him on here. One's a man, one's a woman. So if anybody doesn't agree with us, I would love to have a friendly debate.
Absolutely.
I don't really know anybody, though,
Absolutely.
that will do that. So we need to debate somebody that thinks what we're saying is
An anti-gun person?
right. An anti-gun person.
There is common ground. There is. It's there.
So anyway, if anybody wants to come debate or have a drink, and
Just
talk
sit around
about
and
what we're
bullshit
talking
with
about.
us.
That's right. We're solving all the world's problems
That's right.
1 week at a time.
We won't
Please
take it personally.
send us an email. Paul, what's our email? Oh,
Bong.
is it 2ShotsInPodcast?
Number 2ShotsInPodcast@gmail.com.
The number 2 Shots in
in
podcast
podcast.
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Paul definitely has a voice for radio.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Or at least one,
Thank you for listening.
one of the guys that's like,
So all of these are pretty much laws that are already existent. They are to empower law enforcement to effectively force laws that are already on the books. I don't know why he mentioned all of this stuff. Establish a new task force on online harassment. We went on through this one. All right, done with that one. We're slowly burning through this. Direct the ATF to issue an annual report on firearms trafficking. That's a big no-no. That means gun registry, guys. Don't want that.
well, wait, isn't gun trafficking not legal anyway?
Well,
Taking
what they
one
mean
across
is-
state lines and selling it?
That's not what they mean. They just want to have the report will provide officials with critical information to better identify strategies in curbing firearms trafficking. So they mean any gun sales
Oh, gotcha.
through a store, through a person. They want a list, a registry like they have in California.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, when we were doing the gun shows, okay, at the Pontchartrain Center, the whole gun show loophole thing, where you'd have a table across from us, where a guy brought 50 brand new guns that he's never shot, he bought specifically for the gun show, and you have somebody come to our table and run a background check and they get denied, or they get delayed.
Right.
And they walk right across to that table and purchase a gun without any background check, without him even asking them, "Are you a felon?"
Private sales are legal.
And
yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest.
Me neither.
that was one thing that did bother me.
Yeah,
about
I
the
mean,
gun
there
show.
is middle ground, but I would.
But some
hope-
Joe Schmo walking in with a sign
Look,
on
so
his
that-
gun that says, "I'm looking to sell this."
Right.
I think he should be allowed to sell it.
Absolutely.
But somebody coming in and capitalizing on the gun show loophole like that, quote unquote, I think that's wrong. I think they shouldn't be able to do that.
So there is some things that I think a lot of people in the gun industry would agree with.
Coconut.
They're just not most of the
Coconut.
things that are listed on this
God.
Oh, it smells like
stupid
the beach.
list that they posted.
Right. Well, you hear a lot of enthusiasts
It smells like the beach. I hate the
Slash,
beach. What that sound like? Sand and seagull shit?
that say any infringement, any gun law is
Seaweed.
bad. But when you see, like especially from our perspective, when we run a table at a gun show and we run a background check on a certain individual and they fail it, Frank said, and they go across the aisle to the table that doesn't run background checks.
Well, normally we would tell the police.
Well,
or tell the vendor.
so which
Right.
most people don't realize is that to buy and sell firearms for a profit requires an FFL. That's the current law.
Well,
It's not enforced as well as
It's
arguably
terrible.
it should be because
But
the
they have
lack
to-
of funds that law enforcement has.
but they have to prove, like at a gun show, for instance,
Well, I'll
he'd have
give
to
you an
prove
example.
what he paid for them.
Right. But we have, which we reported, and I actually spoke to the guy a couple weeks ago. They have a guy that has been sending us guns. I mean, a lot of guns, like 8 of them a month. And that's just to our FFL, and he's in another state. So I know he's selling a lot of guns. Legally, to do that, you need a license to do it.
What is it, 6 a year or something like that?
No, it's any, if you buy a firearm with the intent to sell it for a profit,
Wow.
you need an FFL.
Okay, they changed it.
Right, so if you're selling a bunch of guns constantly, I would think you're probably doing that to make money on it, and you need a license. So I'm in agreement with them on that they need a license. They should go through the proper acquisition of a firearms license to buy and sell firearms. So I agree with them on that.
So in
But
other words,
those
if you
people-
bought it 2 days ago,
Right. The guy that I spoke to recently probably lied to me a little bit, but he said he's only been sending them to us. He sent us like 8 of them. We already reported it that we've been getting a bunch from this one individual, which is our duty to do it. You need a license to do that, and I agree with that. I don't think you should be selling guns to anybody without proper vetting or doing a background check.
right?
There's some stuff that I agree with, but to say that I can't sell you a gun, somebody who works for us,
Just a one-on-one.
even though I know you can legally buy a gun because you do it through our store,
Right?
I think that's irrational, to put it mildly.
Absolutely. Universal background checks. Fuck yeah.
Well, that would mean too. That would mean too, like right now, how they
Or
say,
or son.
as a father, you can buy a firearm for
And
your
gift
son,
it to your son. That's how I got handguns before I was 21.
right.
but you can't under this. You'd have to
Under this, you would be responsible for anybody that has that firearm.
But now,
unless it's
Are
reported
gun
stolen.
sales including all transfers? Because if you're gifting it to someone, is
No,
that
yeah,
is that a
just
sale?
transfer of ownership.
Right.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would include everything.
Yep.
All right, so we burned through most of this.
Which
Okay,
in
here we
which
go.
case that would
Address. This is
wouldn't
so
that negate the 18-year-old thing if you gift it to your, because they would have to be 21 to run a background check.
Right. Yeah, it would.
So it would negate
Well,
the
I mean,
gifting
I think
the firearm
it's,
to your kid.
I think it's.
But you could be 18 and shoot one in the military.
I think it's worded if
you
you
can give up your life
right,
to serve your country.
but you can't drink
But you can't drink and you can't buy a
gun.
handgun.
or bang hookers. None of us
In
can
the
bang
country-
hookers.
Oh, man. Come on. You
in the
got that.
country that just paid you to go use a gun to defend it.
That's right.
All right, so the other main one I got highlighted, which is kind of funny. Address the epidemic of suicides by firearms. Biden believes any plan to address the gun violence epidemic, it's an epidemic now, just like COVID, maybe they'll come out with a vaccine, must address suicides by firearms, which account for 6 in 10 gun-related deaths, which actually is true. It's actually 7 in 10 for the FBI Unified Crime Statistic
That's
as of
absolutely
2020. It's either 2019 or 2020 that I was reading. But we keep a pretty close eye on that to defend against bullshit like this. Was left out of the conversation. Many of the policies noted above, which was 6 pages ago, that we threw on the ground and we're not listening to. Left out of the conversation. Many of the policies noted above, including safe storage requirements and extreme risk protection orders, will have a serious impact on efforts to reduce gun violence. But there's so much more we need to do to support people experiencing suicidal ideation?
Ideation.
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 Ideation. Jesus. We should do this 0 shots in until the last 5 minutes. In the months ahead, Biden will put forward a comprehensive plan to improve access to mental health services. I 100% agree that mental health, the mental health epidemic in the United States, which seems to only happen in the United States, even if you look at countries like, we'll keep China out of it because they're constantly trying to kill themselves because they're working for $2 an hour at Apple, but
they just jump off the Apple building.
They do, and there's nets. How fucked up is that?
I know that you got
can't
so
even
many
kill
suicides.
yourself.
You got so many suicides.
You
You have to put up nets.
around the building.
That's amazing. Really, think about that.
It's actually a net that's spring powered, so when you bounce down, it shoots you back into your office.
Get back to
Get
work.
back to work.
Get back
But
to work.
the Netherlands,
What the fuck are you doing?
Australia,
Quit fucking around.
Jesus, all places like that. We do have a very high suicide rate, but
Just make good money on those nets.
I do.
around.
I bet they're like the nets that was that easy bounce in Metairie when you were a kid. Remember those? You could every now and then they'd break and somebody get fucked up.
Yep.
But usually those nets you could spring and go back up.
The one you'd go for your birthday, and
Uh-huh.
when you'd get there, there was already EMTs there.
Right. Carrying some poor fucker out of there that broke his leg from one of those nets. So,
Yeah.
what the hell are we talking about? So, anyway, so countries like the Netherlands, even Canada, we have a very high suicide rate and a very high prescription of drug. This is where I wanted to bring all this around. I
SSRIs,
think all
dude.
of this is SSRIs. If you
bro.
say why do we have this problem and no other country does, I think it is because of prescribed SSRIs, antidepressants, and that's not to say that antidepressants don't work. I think they do, but I think it's a cocktail.
It is.
For each individual person.
It's something that must be supervised very closely.
So if you look at all of the people that have committed a mass shooting since 1990, I think 100%.
It's every single one.
It's
Even
all of them.
Even the guy.
And if you talk to them,
in
the people that
Sweden.
lived say that they started taking a new drug, an anti-anxiety medicine or an antidepressant, and nothing's real. It's like they're in a video game.
Right.
And we're the only country that prescribes, because of the pharmaceutical companies, at such a high rate and at such a laxed rate that it doesn't matter if you're given the right prescription or not. And sometimes you have to go through 4, 5, 6 prescriptions to find one that works
for you.
But
right.
in that period where you're not okay,
It's
where
a
you're-
gamble.
right?
It's a fucking crapshoot.
It's all about the money.
I think that's the problem.
It's absolutely
Because-
about the money.
Because
Absolutely.
they're not banning oxycodone.
No, they're not.
Why, you want some?
Not good for one or two.
But that is,
And how many people overdose on that every year?
I think that's I think that's the problem. I think it's pharmaceuticals that are being jammed down everybody's throat.
Yeah.
That are causing one person every 6 months to go shoot up something.
Well, my ex,
And nobody's talking about it. People say, why does America have it? Well, it's the gun issue. No, it's not.
it's
If you look
not.
at the amount of prescriptions that are prescribed per capita in the U.S., in any other country, where pharmaceutical companies are so entangled with the government.
and the programs are so easy to get into.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it is so easy. I talked to somebody about this not just recently, as a matter of fact. It is so easy to get yourself declared with a mental disability or some kind of disability in general.
They want that. That's
In-
a gold mine.
I know, because then you
Right.
get paid
It's a
every.
fucking gold mine.
You get free money.
Yep.
It's crazy. They incentivize it.
It's stupid. Just
So I think that's a problem. And nobody wants to look at that problem, and nobody wants to pass laws about that problem because they are the ones that are funding
No,
campaigns.
it's the gun's fault.
Right.
It's not
it's
the
gun's
crazy
fault.
motherfucker's fault.
Noah's got a gun right there. We got 2 right here.
It ain't killed nobody yet.
Well, we're only 4 weeks in, but it hasn't.
No, I'm saying it hadn't
That's
jumped
not-
off the table and shot
Right,
nobody.
this motherfucker's lazy or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
mine are
got rounds
too.
in it and everything.
I wish every now and then
My guns don't do what everybody says they're supposed to do.
Uh huh.
It's ridiculous.
I know we're having fun. And it's the majority of it's a joke, but I'm really terrified of what my daughter is going to deal with when she
grows up into. Yeah, I'm worried about that now. My daughter's 21, and I'm worried that even her ability to, like, she was big on, hey, they're going to pay off my student loans, and very naive about following just what the general, like all her other friends thought they were going to do, like falling into that narrative.
Chelsea too.
Like, but this is going to be so much better. It's going to be this and that. Who's paying for that? All that kind of shit. But anyway, she gets into that, as far as she has no idea what she's agreeing to. She doesn't look, and that's a problem with kids today too.
Student loans are one of the few things that you cannot file
bankruptcy
voided when you file bankruptcy.
I know. But
and that's the only thing you can sign when you're 18 or younger with the parental's consent.
But kids today, they're so
done with Biden's gun plan.
They're so desensitized to their future. Like, they worry about right now. They worry about their little bubble that they're in right now. What's affecting me at this moment? That's what they worry about.
Well, that's what's most important to them.
They don't worry about what am I going to do
in 20 years.
In 20 years, right. How am I going to make money? That's why there's this huge culture of van life that has exploded. Do you know how much vans cost right now? Because so many kids because so many kids are buying them and outfitting them to be like mini RVs.
I don't even know
who you are.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm saying, like, kids are buying these vans instead of, like, as their first car. They're having these vans outfitted to live in because they want this. You know what? I set up this shop online and I sell things that I get out of thrift stores and all that, and I make money, and that's how I support myself living in this van.
Right. It's like a skew.
There's no American dream anymore with these kids. There's no making money. There's no, it's live as you go. It's live within what you can provide for yourself and whatever you can get for free. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm really scared about what's about to happen. I mean, Trump, I agree when you're shown two candidates that one is, I mean, I have people in my family that voted for Hillary last election, and obviously I do not hate them. I love them.
Right.
I can understand that, but it's constant. You're shown two options. One is not a good option to be a president, and one is not a good option to be a president.
Well,
the fact that most people spend, and don't quote me on this because I did not look this up, but the last thing I heard and I bounced back between Fox and CNN to see who's bullshitting. I think they spend on average like $50 to $100 million to get presidency, to become a president, and they make $250,000 a year or something like. Why would you do that? It's not.
That was the big thing with Donald Trump.
Because after you're going to give speeches for $1 million a pop.
But see, that was the big thing with Donald Trump. He didn't have to leave his millions.
Well, that's
and all that
why
kind of shit.
I voted for him. I believe that he honestly thought that the U.S. was in trouble, and he is erratic at times. But I think he had the best interest of the U.S. in mind.
I think he did.
With foreign policy.
But see, now he also connected with blue-collar America.
He did.
Where a lot of candidates don't.
For the last
forever.
8 years.
They carry the brunt of the load.
They were told that they were the
deplorables.
Right. They were the people that were victimizing other people because they were, working class or white or,
but he's gonna have,
or black or any. I mean,
he's going to have a big task to win over blue collar America because
he won't, and because
he's
won't,
screwing him over with all this. Because you heard he wants to stop the pipeline that's being built. He's just going to decimate so many jobs.
The real problem that I honestly believe, and it's not a joke, is that he doesn't have linear thinking. So he went to no fracking, to fracking, to no fracking, to running for Congress 6 months
Right,
ago to
right.
fracking to no fracking. There's no. It's.
He doesn't have a goal. He tells everybody what they want to hear.
I don't know why I think, honestly, that there should be no ballot that 6 months prior to the prior election, to where you would start to vote or start to have campaigns, not to vote, but before we should campaign for the vote, 6 months before that, you should have an app on your phone to where you should vote for somebody. Anybody. Me, you, Elon Musk,
Anybody you know.
Jordan Peterson,
Key their name
anybody
in.
you know. And the top 20 people
Get on the ballot.
Pick
get
'em-
on the ballot.
Pick them from your contacts list.
Right. I think really that would work a lot
Could be
better.
big hairy pussy.
Because right now you're...
They're in my contact list. I got their number.
Do you? Delete that.
don't know.
That's nothing but trouble.
I don't know who this is, but I'm voting for him.
You made Paul laugh.
Delete that.
So I think I honestly do. If you can bank online, if you can file your taxes online, I think you should. Everybody, once they turn 18, should be given a code or something that they should. Well,
You want to tattoo it on their arm too? You communist motherfucker.
but something that they
Go be a
could
Nazi.
not only vote or track their vote, but
Well, yeah, you
but
put
track their
put
vote.
put
You
a
should
chip
be
in their
able to
brain.
log in, see who you voted for, where you voted, when you voted, and then submit it finally for 50 candidates,
Or even change it if you want.
or change it if you want.
That would add to vote security too.
Hmm
You know?
I just don't understand why you can do everything online except
Except
for
vote.
vote. You have to do that by mail-in ballot or go to I don't know.
I mean, everything's encrypted.
I just think,
Everything comes from a specific location.
I think when
you have to
it's
create.
such a
You have to create an account. If I can, like my social security number was compromised once, where I tried to file my taxes and they said it was already filed.
Bastards.
So from that point on,
that
now
was me. I'm sorry.
I have
was
to
hard
get.
up for cash.
I have to get a PIN number from the IRS every year now
UPenn.
to file my taxes, so they know it's me, and they send me a new PIN number every year. So you mean to tell me we can do that, but we can't vote electronically?
I mean, the problem is everybody that
Goodness,
we're
that's
gonna
ridiculous.
see from this
It don't make
moment
any fucking
forward
sense.
is people that have been in politics for. I mean, Donald Trump was not. I don't think we'll see another Donald
I
Trump.
think it was an eye opener for a lot of people. Like
I mean,
it
it
made
was.
people say, like, look, this is probably what would have happened if we elected Ross Perot back in the day.
Well, that
I
shows you
feel
how
the same
screwed
way.
up it
I feel the
is.
same
It
way.
shows you
Absolutely.
that people are so upset and
But it also-
downtrodden and out of options that they say, "Fuck it."
Well, but
I'm gonna
it
vote.
That's
also
exactly it.
Right.
That's exactly it.
They
It's
fu-
the frustration with the
they-
current situation.
but they
politically.
brought Donald Trump in thinking he's going to run it like a business,
No.
and he's going to he's done all this and brought his business up. He could do the same thing for the United States.
Right?
And
I mean, I've voted for him. based
technically, I
on
mean,
that.
it is a business to a certain extent, but I think that the radical side of it is, you can't just say,
I bet if we didn't have COVID,
"Fuck
he
you,
would
I'm doing
be
it." You know what I
president.
mean?
I think
Did
you're
you-
right.
I think he
COVID?
would be. No,
Yeah, I think he would be president.
I think
think
yeah,
he's right.
because they kind of blamed him for the steps that he took. When he's got 50 advisors telling him exactly what to do. He, in certain circumstances, but
Everything is so 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I cannot believe they banned
I
the
agree.
president from
Twitter.
Facebook and
I know.
Twitter.
Yeah, that's something else, isn't it? That's
crazy.
amazing.
And Spotify too.
well,
Yeah.
and there was
Pornhub
something
and
on there
Spotify,
saying
wow.
There
Whole
were-
bunch of them.
there were quotes on there that they pulled from like Black Lives Matter and things like that were like calling to cause violence and do things that were specifically hate crime, hate speech. They're not banned.
Nope.
Like that senator or whatever she was who said to my constituents, you know who you or my warriors, you know who you are.
Warriors.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Cool. Bring it.
She said all that stuff in a video, on a Facebook Live video. And she didn't get banned.
Nope.
I bet the next big Facebook, and I've been looking because I would like to invest some money somewhere where it's not going to
Early.
get lost, is a Facebook type platform that stipulates in their, when you sign up in their initial agreement, that we will not take off any posts or
Parler.
ban anyone
That's
except
Parler.
for.
Baller's dead.
Yeah. They
We
shut
We
it down.
that Me We.
Uh-huh.
That's another one that
Well,
they're.
that's a Chinese. I think isn't that a Chinese company?
I don't know. But Parler was more like Twitter.
Yep.
And that Me We or whatever. That's what a lot of people going to now. Which is more Facebookish.
I think the next one will be something like that states very plainly and simply in their initial policy that if you join, we will not pull or ban anyone except by a judge's decree.
Right.
Well, see, I look at it this way.
That's a huge
the
statement.
the First Amendment is
That's huge.
the First Amendment is huge. Is there for a reason.
That'll be gone in a minute.
So what I'm
Absolutely.
saying is, if you want to have freedom of speech, I think you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say. You should, if you don't like certain
Just don't
certain
listen.
people,
Right.
no. If you don't like certain people, you can say you don't like certain people. If you don't like the way certain people look or the way certain people act, you say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But be prepared to suffer the consequences of what you
Absolutely.
say. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to say.
Right. Exactly.
But you have to deal with those consequences
Right.
if you say it.
But if you say on your Instagram,
But you shouldn't have somebody
You know.
else looking at it saying, I don't think you should say that, so I'm going to take that. That's the
And not
opposite
only
of freedom of
take it,
speech.
Force
Censor it.
companies to not hire you.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Or get
Ruin your
fired
life because
from your current
They
job.
said anybody that was in Trump's administration, and this was on CNN, that they will physically go after them to not be employable in that realm of
It's
whatever
insane.
they work.
But
just like they're going after
That's
Trump's.
so
They're going after
crazy.
Trump's
It is.
company and businesses on the private side because of what he did as president.
Yeah,
So
there have been
if-
banks that have closed out his accounts.
Yeah.
Now.
that's amazing.
It's ridiculous. Like the backlash from all these, but I mean they've made this culture that way.
The only thing that would give me hope is if tomorrow the liberal side would say, look, we've had 4 years that we didn't agree with. We're going to wipe it clean. We need to reunite, and we're not going to punish conservatives for the last 4 years.
You know
But
what-
I don't think that's
You know
gonna
what I would
happen.
agree with?
And
I
then
would agree
for-
with Trump pardoning Julian Assange. And
Oh,
then
we should.
Julian
And,
Assange releasing
Lil Wayne.
all kinds of documents.
And
And Little Wayne.
no, the guy that shit, man, I just listened to his podcast with Rogan.
I saw Little
The
Wayne
CIA
on
guy who
St. Charles
released
the
all
other
that
day.
stuff.
He might have to change his name to Big
Paul, help
Wayne.
me out. What was his name? The guy that was showing how cell phones were.
Being they were
wasn't
monitoring
Julian
the cell
Assange, though.
phones. What was his name? The young kid
Yeah, he's
who
like,
was working for the he was
Yeah, he went to Russia. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
yeah, that is crazy that he could call out members of government, parliament that were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, and he now has to hide in a broom closet in
in
Russia
another
until
country,
they-
yeah. Which the whole whistleblower thing, you
Right,
know?
that had to be taken off of Obama's website. The Hope and Change website said that they were not going to prosecute whistleblowers. After he came out, they took that off their website.
Wow. That's amazing. See, that's the problem with truth. Not everybody wants
So
to hear
that's
There you
him.
go.
What's his name?
Julian Assange. No, that's
No, that's not him.
Edward Snowden.
Yeah, Snowden.
That's right.
I love Snowden. That poor dude, man. He's been hiding in a broom closet for the last 6 years. 4 years.
his country abandoned him for telling
The
them
truth.
that they were spying on their own people.
And how they were doing it.
Right.
That's amazing. I mean, think about that for a little while.
That apparently Microsoft and Apple and Facebook and Google and all of them didn't even know was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out later that they did.
What a country.
That's crazy.
What a country.
So I don't have much hope. I'm really scared, man. If I didn't
should
have a
be.
daughter, I wouldn't give a shit.
You should
but-
be scared. You should absolutely be scared.
And we're in the industry where we sell firearms, and we're on the opposite side, and now who's in power? All three all 3 tiers of power now.
Well, I mean, and this guy had no motive other than to let people know what was going on, you know?
And I think if you remember, the first thing that he actually uncovered was that video stuff from Iraq where this journalist got killed. I mean, he had no dog in that fight. You know what I mean?
Well, and nobody knew the NSA was listening on every single phone call made in the United States. You know? And recording it. That massive facility they
Patriot
built.
Act.
Crazy stuff. Well, there was a lot of stuff in that.
Patriot Act.
You realize under the Obama administration, or even after Bush, you know, when they said, okay, if you were declared a terrorist against the United States, they were allowed to kill you, and that meant if you were a U.S. citizen, if you were anybody without a trial, without due process or anything, they were allowed to jump over the Constitution of the United States and the court of law and execute you just because they labeled you as a terrorist.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in a couple of days what happens.
Because that also became a problem over in Iraq. Because if they had a person from the United States that was a U.S. citizen that was in a terrorist camp or in a group, they had to sit and say, do we really need, we need to arrest this guy and have due process. Right. We can't just kill him. He's a U.S. citizen.
Right. Rather than treat him like an
so that's why in the Patriot Act they said, hey, if they're declared a terrorist, we can kill them no matter what.
That's right.
And that extended into the United States as well. They could kill you in the United States as a U.S. citizen if you were declared to be a terrorist.
It's such a mess.
Yep.
All right, guys. 2 Shots In Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, we're gonna stay. It was. All of ours are good, man. I mean, we get drunk, so it's all good. But I enjoy.
They degrade over time.
If you've lasted this long, we appreciate it.
Like
we're
bullets.
gonna have. It's all gonna be free for as long as we can. Uninterrupted. The number 2 Shots, SHOTSIN Podcast is where you can find us on YouTube. We're working on Apple Podcasts.
Please submit questions. Please.
Yes,
submit
questions.
Via email.
Anybody in the area, we're in New Orleans, Louisiana. We have gun stores and shooting ranges there. Jefferson Gun Outlet is a sponsor. Jefferson Indoor Range and the Shooters Club. Send us your comments, questions. We're going to start posting advertisement for it, so we should get a little bit more traction in the next couple of weeks.
Do we take donations?
Not yet.
We should.
Maybe
Donate some
future.
fucking fans to this motherfucker.
I know. This
Sweat
is
my ass off in
We
here.
do. We need some subscribers.
It's got us in this fucking hot box.
I didn't notice. We didn't take the.
We need a fan up in
That's
this
covering the AC vent?
I fucked
Oh,
up.
you motherfucker.
place. He was afraid.
Well,
it was
it
gonna
makes
make
a
too much
noise, you know.
Oh,
It messes it
yeah,
up.
well,
I
you
should
know.
have took it off 3 hours ago. And then,
Be quiet over cool.
not to mention it's January and it's 80 degrees outside New Orleans.
Well, I'm sure it is when there's no windows in this motherfucker either.
Yeah. All right, guys. 2 Shots In Podcast. I'm Devin Burgess.
Window
You are.
unit in. Frank King.
Noah Fishback.
And Paul.
I'm drunk over here. Paul Hanbrice.
Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. We appreciate it, and we'll be back. We're trying to do it twice a week, and we're going to start promoting after we have about a dozen to give you. See you in a few days.
Thank you.
Roll the...